Yeah. Do you think there is a possibility, maybe not even Friday or whatever, I don't know what Nas is posting on his Instagram, these images or videos for,
I just
but
watched
do you
those.
think there is oh, go ahead.
Well, I just watched those for the first time, Mike, and just quite frankly, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Right. I
Why,
don't know what it means either,
like,
but
how is that? Like, how did those two Instagram posts you just had me look at allude to an album?
well, I think that in
Or
today's
maybe it's just
time,
early and I'm tired. I'm lost. Am I missing something?
I
I'm like,
think in
what the fuck
today's
is this?
time when artists delete everything, it's album time. You know what I mean? And I think the fact that those are the only two posts up there, obviously, is something that he
Oh,
wants
those
people
are
to
the
pay
only
attention.
two posts on the page?
Yeah. So everything else is gone. And usually when artists do that, it's album time. What do you think that even if it's not this Friday, right? Do you think that if Magic 2 comes, right, and it is in a similar vein as its predecessor or whatnot, the first Magic, do you think the reaction is different from mass media now than it was, in 2000, what was that, 21 Christmas Eve?
Hmm. I think Magic. I think people tried it with Magic. I think the media tried it with Magic, like almost
Right.
like it's like, man, this is brilliant. We ain't gonna say nothing though.
They didn't rate it?
We're gonna keep on. No. We're gonna keep on doing what we're doing. But I think what happened, and here's the thing about it, and it seems funny because Magic has very core hip hop vibes to it, Mike.
Right.
Like in a way that mainstream media, even mainstream black media, can be like, nah, too core hip hoppy at this point.
Hip Hop 50 is a good year to do it.
We can, you know what I'm saying? We can bypass it. But I think what happened is, I think when he made KD3, album wise, I think he really touched the nerve of the media, of the black men in the journalistic media and on the music side, who had been covering this and covering him for a long time, but not covering him properly. Listen to what I'm saying. I think he emotionally connected with them on a grown man level. Like, hold up, I need to pause for a second. Dude is almost 50 making albums at this level. It deserves to be covered because a lot of the people who haven't been covering him properly are around his fucking age, Mike, like Ebro. And so what you see, like, there's been a change in the past year in how he's disseminated his hip hop and his information, and it's kind of gone more back to the guy that we've all kind of maybe known and grown up with more, quote unquote. Correct? That's that KD3 effect. So I think it's gonna get more love than Magic, just because I think he's influenced that sector of black men in the media that are around his age demographic. We will fall on the lower end of that because he's 50 and we're like early 40s, but we're technically kind of part of some of that demographic. But I think he's influenced us in that demographic, that over 40 media. Like, damn, like, that's hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not an easy thing to
like,
pull
because
off.
here's the thing. It's like, you can call Magic a fluke if you want to, but then KD3 comes out and it's like, oh man, it's like, okay, like.
Harry with the super chat says, IG post by Nas is a video of a magician, Harry Houdini, performing his famous straitjacket escape trick. That sounds like Magic 2 confirmation.
Oh, when did it drop?
Well, that one was about 3 hours ago. The Houdini.
That's what I'm saying. So why people been in my Twitter for the past week and I ain't been able to talk?
Well, I don't know if the first clip was something like that, but I know the video that he's speaking about was the one that was about 3 hours ago.
But you get what I'm saying? But people been pulling up on me about it for a minute now. I just been looking at the thread like, like, I know, play those games.
Jay Short with the super chat says, let's keep it real.
I like the plugs I met, Mike.
Jay Short with the super chat says, let's keep it real. They have to talk about Magic, right? I mean, other than Gunna, who else is out right now? 2023 has been slow. Yeah, it has. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, KD3 got more mainstream and podcast outlets to review it than the other projects Nas released in this run. I wonder if it's that I wonder if that generates enough buzz for Magic 2 to thrive. Hope it's called Still Magic. That'd be nice. I like that title. Christopher Hogan with the super chat says, Bun put out an album and has Trill burgers. No excuses. Stefan Young with the super chat says, "What up, Mike and Coop? What up, Stefan? I got your emails too. We're gonna check those out." NDU Jams with the super chat says, Nas on his pod. Nas on his post has 2 wands and Houdini doing tricks. It is Magic 2 time. What do you say to all of this excitement?
No, I hear, but what you just told me, I don't think you're hearing me, Mike. Or maybe the people not hearing me. You just told me that these posts are recent. I mean, first of all, I haven't. I follow him on Instagram. I really don't be. I think everybody knows me by now. I don't really be following stuff like that. Right. So these posts came out in the last 3 hours, correct?
Let's see, man.
Because
let's do this live, man. We'll do this live.
I can show you
because everybody's tuned in. These are videos. The first video.
I can go to my Twitter and this shit been happening.
Actually, the first video was 5 days ago.
Okay.
The one that people are talking about now with the straight jacket and the Houdini trick, that was 3 hours ago. So that's where people are getting this from. Actually, let me shout out to my people over here. I think I saw another post. Okay. Somebody says breaking. Nas announces Magic 2. And yeah, the 2 emojis say that it's 2 magic wands. You see it? You on there right now?
No, I'm on my Twitter trying to figure out when people started harassing me.
No, this is it right here. 2 magic wands. Coop was actually on the road when he posted this, so.
Right. Oh, this was.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is 3 hours.
Magic wands? I don't have my glasses. What kind of shit is this?
Those are magic wands.
Okay,
bro.
if you say so.
Those are magic wands. So, yeah. So people are saying Magic 2 Friday.
Okay.
If that happens, we got to do some sort of listening thing. Boycott activity with the super chat says, can you do a poll to see how many people buy Nas's album versus stream? Apple Music, Spotify, etc. We could do that. Leroy Green with the super chat says, whose album's going to be better, Coop? Nas or Benny?
Nas. Have you not been paying attention to what's been going on, Leroy?
So if Magic 2 drops Friday, what are your expectations? Are there any?
Well, here's what I know. I know, in my opinion, his MCing on every project, in my opinion, he's done something different that's special on every project. I think on the first project, what's special is the fact that he actually showed that he could work with the younger artist and connect. Like both. Like Spicy's important. Spicy's a banker. 27 Summers is a banker. Blue Benz is a banker. These are records that even the younger generation can vibe to, too. You feel what I'm saying? So I think he proved that. On KD2, he proved that he still had the ability to make greatest hits level records. A Nobody with Lauryn Hill. Definitely Store Run. Mike, Store Run might be the best song of this run in a vacuum.
Think so?
Because it's the one song where I'm like, no, that belongs on his greatest hits somewhere when I hear it. Because it's a greatest hit is like, how about this? Most of Stevie Wonder's greatest hits is going to be like really beautiful songs because that's what he does best. It's like Nas's nostalgic rap game and storytelling game is where he probably like just goes somewhere else mostly, and it's like that's what Store Run is. We haven't heard him rap in that nostalgic format on that level in a classic setting like that, and the hook and like no, it's like that. And so I think KD2 proved that he could still make classic records, and Mike, that he had become Biggie like at doing all the things. A Brunch on Sunday.
Yeah.
A Death Row East, Mike. Yeah, you know I was gonna bring up Death Row East.
Yeah, of course.
A Death Row East. At the height of the beef, Mike. On Magic, he proved he could still rhyme like the guy that we thought was going to be the greatest MC of all time when we first heard him.
Yep.
And on KD3, he proved that he pretty much had no limits and bounds as an MC. It's like, oh, no, pick a beat, any beat. I can do it all by myself.
Yeah, I think the flow is very high, very much highlighted on KD3.
Well, it's the flow because of the beat paces and the switch and the samples used and the fact that there's no fucking guest appearances, Mike.
All 17 records.
It's a solo mission, Mike.
Total solo mission. Off after a run of 4 albums like
right.
this.
Who the
it's
fuck?
Very incredible.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I think that's the part about KD3 people are missing. It's like, y'all know he just made that after making 4 albums, right?
3.
3, sorry. This is the album number 4. It's like, no. It's like you just made 3 albums and that's what you have for your 4th album? As in you're getting better?
And it's hard to think that he doesn't have more. So, you know, if you got 2 Magic Wands and you got Houdini in the video, I think there could be a magic too.
And Mike, I know this for a fact, and I'll say this now. It's like, I know an album got recorded between KD1 and KD2 that none of us have heard outside of the camp. So it's like there's been a whole nother album that's been done that's actually like a couple years old now.
I'm excited, man.
So it's like, if this is album number 5 in 3 years, is it 5 in 3 years?
Yeah. Because it feels like 2020.
Because it feels like KD1 was like May.
Yeah, 5 in 3 years. This would be 5 albums in 3 years.
This would be 5 albums in 39 months.
Something like that.
Yeah, it'd be 5 albums in 38. 5 albums in 38 months.
Yeah, after being in the game nearly 30 years.
Mike, if you go look at the quality of it, only the greatest artists ever have done this. And I don't mean rappers, Mike.
Just period.
I'm talking about Prince and Stevie Wonder for real now. That's what I've been saying. It's like, I don't think people understand how special this run is. Stop looking at it in a hip-hop context if this album drops Friday. And if this album, how about this? If this album is anywhere as great as these other projects are, Mike, it's the equivalent.
He's already number 1, man.
He's already number 1.
This is Tom Brady stuff,
Mike, it's the distancing now.
Yeah.
It's that guy's number 1, and now we have a new tier, because he can re-tier it. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, well, he's number 1, and so there's only that tier for him, and then everybody else has to start falling into other tiers. There's that in it potentially, but it's just really in the fact that it's like, no, if this album is, how about this? If this album is lyrically what Magic is on any level, and song-wise what KD2 and 3 are, and connects the way KD, like if it does some of all those things, like I think that it might, then like, yeah, Mike, it's like you got to start thinking about him in artist terms. Like, how about this? Like you say Kanye is the greatest artist ever? I say bullshit, because Kanye can't do this.
I mean, I think that's fair.
You feel me?
I think when I look at Ye, I'm thinking of the overall abilities from a production end, from just an overall creative end.
But Nas about to have more classic and great albums than Kanye has made and Mike, and produce.
No.
You feel what I'm saying?
I mean, I think that,
it's like Kanye might have 4 classics over here and 4 classics over there. It's like Nas might have that.
I think as a writer, he is just in a whole another level. And you know, when we talked about all of that storytelling, and if we actually made a real list of his storytelling records, I mean, just based on what people were saying and some of the stuff we missed out, there's at least 50 out there.
I told you, Mike.
There's nobody you can do that for.
We would have to do the actual stories that we know are stories, and then the songs that have stories.
Exactly. I'm not even counting those. I'm counting the end-to-end storytelling songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with that, you got 50. And when you look at the rest of his counterparts, I mean, you would struggle to get 15 stories out of very great storytellers. You know what I mean? At least end-to-end stories. And so that puts him in a league of his own in that perspective. And him doing this with these albums this late in his career and still having this level of intensity and still being the lyricist that he's always been. He came in the door as one of the elite lyricists, excuse me. I mean, he's the greatest. It is what it is.
Yeah, he's the greatest. I mean, I think for me, if we're doing a prognostication, you know what my biggest question is? And this is what I mean. I think sometimes people ask the wrong questions, or maybe I just think different. Mike, my biggest question is Hit Boy doing this project, if there is an actual project coming?
Hit Boy was in the comment section with, Flames and stuff, so many people assume that
that's his brother now, so that's just going to be like love and support. Like Hit Boy being in our comments, that don't mean he gave us a beat.
It's a little different with Nas, but I got you.
That's what I'm saying, because it's Nas and because of what Nas has done for Hit Boy's production catalog with these albums. Of course, he's gonna put up a fire sign whether he did production or not.
It's not a given. It's not a given, but we hope. I hope that's what it is.
How about this? When Griselda be dropping projects, I hear artists throw up the flames and throw up the sign that ain't even on the album. It's like that's what you do when it's home team.
But in this sense, I hope if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of deal with this. And based on what I've been hearing from Hit Boy recently, yes, we need Hit Boy to be doing this album. Because honestly, it's unfair to anybody else who would be coming in doing this. You really want to stand up to this run that's going on?
I mean, you can't tell Nas what to do, for one.
Of course not.
And then let's also look at the fact that it's like, well, he did just do a joint with Metro, Mike.
He did.
And doing a joint with Metro got him 5 million extra Spotify viewers.
So you think Magic 2 could possibly be Metro in the end?
I mean, no. I'm not even saying Metro for in the end, but what I'm saying is like, what if Hit Boy, Alchemist, and Metro are on there?
That'd be incredible.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he took the guys from this era that are like, you know what I'm saying, at the top of the food chain and did it that way? I mean, who gonna tell him not? Who gonna tell him no?
Yeah. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, 5 albums in less than 3 years. August 2020 was KD1. 5 albums in 35 months is a special run that we should be looking at as a new milestone for legends. I agree.
Hey, Mike, that's every 7 months. That's past any output that Stevie or Prince ever did.
Jay Short with the super chat says, if Magic 2 is classic, are people going to start looking at this as his peak, or will it be forever Illmatic? I mean, I think even putting this out, and if it's at a certain level, I feel like this is his peak, in my opinion.
This is what I'm saying. That's okay. So people have to understand, when you're saying peak, that's what I mean. It's like, no, he might be our greatest artist now too, because when people think of his peak, you're thinking of lyrically what he did with Illmatic and It Was Written.
Right.
The full encompassing artist, no, Mike, this is the peak. That's what I mean about it's like, this is unprecedented. Nobody's been this great this late in any genre of music.
Yeah, I've been counting.
History.
No,
I've been looking around, Mike. Yeah. I be checking. I be researching people. It's like, how old was such and such when they made such and such? It's like, no, nobody's been this great this
I
late.
remember how impressed I was when Madonna made Confessions of the Dance Floor, and that was 2004. And she was what?
Like our age now.
She was
like
22.
41.
She was 22 years into her career,
which
was impressive at that
42,
point.
43, right?
Nah, she was in her late 40s at that time.
She couldn't have been over 45, Mike. 45, 46.
04?
Because you got to think about it.
She was 46, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was born 58. But yeah.
But think about this. So
that was impressive. And that was unprecedented at that point.
So think about it. Imagine if she would have done that 3 or 4 more consecutive times before 50.
Yeah. Blue Collar Hustle with a super chat says 5 LPs since 19. 5 for every year missed. 13 through 17. The fans are doing the math. I love it. Mr. J. Davis with the super chat says, it's not just 5 albums in 3 years. It's 5 high-quality projects. Many rappers do not have 5 high-quality projects in their entire catalog.
Oh, no.
I'm excited.
No, we're talking about the level. I mean, we've often talked about guys that make multiple projects within a year. None of them have been as good as this.
Yeah.
I mean, how about
the levels matter.
How about this? This is what I mean. He might be our greatest artist. You can start putting this run in context with whole other artists who you think are close to him, whole catalog. Like, no disrespect to Cole or Drake or even Kendrick. If this album sounds like I think it's going to be sound, them niggas ain't got 5 albums like the last 5 he just made. And that's not bringing up Illmatic, It Was Written, Stillmatic, The Lost Tapes. I Am for some people that seem to love I Am.
Andrew Williams with the super chat says Nas is in a zone right now, like he was in 94 to 2002. Nobody has ever been on a run like this late in his career, except for Tom Brady. Mike Jack status. Yeah. Esquire with the super chat says, any possibility of a show / station head Friday? Yeah, I think we got to do something. We'll talk about it.
I gotta work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we might.
But even if it was like a Thursday at midnight thing, like we did.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thursday at midnight. You got me.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't think about it that way. Oh yeah.
Because we did that for KD3.
Oh no. We can run that. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's more about my black ass getting home from work. You know what I'm saying?
Jay Short with the super chat says, Coop, can you give any insight as to why the album between KD1 and KD2 wasn't released?
Absolutely not. Next question. Be happy I told you. I waited like, Mike, I found that out in like November of last year.
Well,
Be
listen,
happy
man.
I'm telling you in July of this year. And now I'll tell you what, here's one thing, and let me say this because I know we got to get out of here soon. Like, I've learned so much from the glove and from the plug.
Yeah.
Because what the glove said in the interview matches up with how the plug talks to me and about how things even work behind the scenes. It's like, no, I knew about that album in November, but it's like, no, certain shit has to clear before I would even ever give that to you. And I'll still never fucking tell you anything else about it.
Yeah.
You know, just like Glove now, it's like, he's sharing shit that he's known for years. First of all, you got to ask people the right questions. I asked him the right questions, but between the two have told me a lot and showed me a lot about the behind the scenes work. So it's like I kind of move that way now too, that I've learned. It's like when you know better, you do better and shit.
Yeah, can't say everything. Mad Max in the super chat says, all right, now old heads is losing it. KD series is good, not classic. Talking about Dot, Cole, and Drake's discography not being better.
They don't have
that. You're on crack.
No. Show me the 5 albums. Like, if this album is comparable to the previous 4, Mike, you're gonna have to show me 5 albums from those guys.
I think you're speaking in albums terms. I think that
that's what I said, though.
And I think that Mad Max is thinking whole discographies terms.
They don't want to do a discography conversation.
As far as features, as far as singles.
Cut that, Mike.
And they're talking about in this 5-album scope. Now, we know, obviously, in the overall.
They don't have a discography conversation with this man.
I'm talking about absurd. In the 5 albums, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like doing the 5-album thing is being kind to them. They don't want to have a discography conversation. But what I'm saying is if this album is comparable to the previous 4 that we've heard, show me the 5 projects that those men have made like that. Because I haven't heard them. Have you? Like, I'm not talking out the side of my neck. Name 5 J. Cole. Name the 4 J. Cole projects that match up with these albums.
I mean, people would say Born Sinner. You would say, you don't like Born Sinner like that? No Friday Night Lights for you? No Forest Hill Drive. Hold on, we got some more super chats. Obviously, my man Mad Max is gonna come in on this one.
Forest Hills Drive, maybe.
Mad Max says KD 1 middle portion wasn't all that. KD 2 after Nobody wasn't good. KD 3 has 3 skips. I'm happy you old head niggas got something for yourself, but don't ever diss my generation's goats. You and Mad Max need to square up.
Mad Max, you have learned nothing in all this time of watching this show. These niggas don't be making albums like that. They shits don't be holding. It's not my fault. You should talk to them about it. It's not my fault that it don't hold water like it should, Mike.
36 Chambers.
It's not my problem. Mad Max ain't running around playing Born Sinner and To Pimp a Butterfly.
I don't know. Maybe
we still play Illmatic and It Was Written. That's my whole point.
I still play those albums too, though.
You play Born Sinner, Mike?
It's been a minute.
Thank you.
36 Chambers with the super chat.
Last time you played To Pimp a Butterfly, Mike, and you wasn't on a road trip.
A couple of months ago.
No, when you wasn't on a road trip, Mike.
I'm trying to think.
Right.
I'll go to like Hood Politics.
The album, Mike, not your favorite songs. When the last time you played To Pimp a Butterfly and you wasn't on a road trip, Mike?
It's been a minute.
When did you wake up and be like, ooh, I can't wait to hear that To Pimp a Butterfly today. I need to hear that today.
Yeah,
I don't think so. You don't wake up like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear Born Sinner or Forest Hills Drive today. Stop fucking playing. Stop playing. You don't be
36
doing that.
Chambers with the super chat says KD3 doesn't have skips. That's a wild take. Jay Short with the super chat says, if you do a Kendrick versus King's Disease, it would be closer than it should be. I'll say that.
Mike, Magic takes a lot of those records on Good Kid, Mad City off the board. It ain't going to go the way people think it going to go.
We should do that. I mean, I'll take Kendrick's catalog. I'll do that. Brother Gabe with the super chat says,
Run it all.
So when 50 said he was on KD4 earlier this year, maybe he really was on Magic too. What other features would y'all want to see? Rocky worked well for part 1. Okay, yeah, I think that's a good one to take us out on. Magic 2, you already spoke to the possible production. What features would you like to see on Magic 2? I know you said Ray last time for KD3.
I mean, I'm about to say, we talking personal or we talking about what works? Because this is what I mean about the Metro thing. It's like, if doing a record with Metro can go get you 5 million extra views. Think about this. If you have 8 million of something and doing one record on a soundtrack can accrue 5 million on one platform for you, it's like, I might be inclined to make those type of decisions. You know what
Well,
I'm
I
saying?
was going to say, I think that the Metro thing was more so the Spider-Man soundtrack and Metro as well, but this would have to be more so about the featured artist, I would imagine.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. I think this is what I mean about if Hit Boy is doing this, because here's the thing. Some plug talk since we actually have been doing all of this. She be the one to be giving me some flex about calling Hit a top 10 producer. I'd be like, well, he's better than Pete Rock. He just hasn't made They Reminisce Over You or The World Is Yours. I said, but everything else says he's better. And so what I would really hope, appearance, whatever, that there is a stellar record on there that Hit produced. Because really, that's what I'm saying is like, he doesn't have, if Niggas in Paris is that moment, it's like, no, that's not that hip hop moment. You know what I'm saying? He could use a record like that. He's definitely fucking with the type of guy on the mic that can give him that record. So guest appearance or no guest appearances, about Hit's legacy and about this shit that I've been talking, I would like to see a classic hip hop record of that ilk on this project. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And They Reminisce Over You is a big ask, obviously. I'm not necessarily asking for that record, but you know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. The World Is Yours, since we were talking Pete Rock again.
Right.
Which I love. I think Pete
No,
Rock's
I love
incredible.
Pete Rock. He's just not better than Hit. It's like he just has those hip hop moments that canonize him, and for all this good album making and quality song making Hit's been doing, he could use that.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would hope for. So no matter who it is, you know what I'm saying?
Mad Max with the super chat says, yeah, I'm playing Born Center, Good Kid, Mad City, 2014. Off season,
But nobody hangs out with you though.
NWTS, F&L, etc. What you saying?
Nah.
You want to hear Nas say we coming blacker than Black Panther 2? Whack bars. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, I'm late, but I just wanted to say I took my wife and daughter to the Book of Hove exhibit on Saturday, and we're absolutely blown away. It was incredible. Gotta go check that out. I don't know how long they're gonna be having. I know it's open to the public now, but I think it's gonna be going on for the next month at least, or at least next couple of weeks. But Stefan Young with the super chat says, Hit Boy is not a top 10 producer, Coop.
Yes, he is.
Mad Max with the super chat says, all y'all in the chat like groupies, love Nas, but this is why young dudes don't respect you. Nas don't want to rap with Cole right now. He chipped his tooth like 94. I would like to see Cole on Magic too. How about that?
I was thinking somebody high level like Nas. Black Thought and Rakim came to my mind. Kind of, they flashed in my mind right quick.
But somebody who's going to get the streams and give us that aesthetic that we're looking for from a hip hop standpoint, that's Cole.
See, this is what I'm saying, Mad Max, and I'm being very serious when I say this. Mike, how many albums has J. Cole dropped in the last 3 years?
Off season.
How many projects has Nas dropped in the last 3 years?
4.
How many 3-verse songs have you heard J. Cole on in the last 3 years?
Well, I mean, I have to go back and think about that.
Right. How many Nas songs do you think there are like that in the last 3 years?
It's a lot.
And so what I'm saying is that it's easy for you to say, like, this is why I hate when people say this, because they used to say this about Thought at some point too. And I was like, well, in a vacuum, you're right. But you do understand one guy is writing exponentially more than the other guy, except for they're performing at the same level. Now, who's greater, Mike? Now, if I do what you do on the same level, except I do it more. And that's really the Cole Nas conversation.
In the past 3 years.
What I'm saying is that it's easy for you to look at the Johnny P's Caddy verse. It's like, okay, that's a verse.
But you know what that is? That's that Andre 3000.
That's that Andre 3000 shit, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not playing those games around here on According to Hip Hop. So as much as I love Cole, as much as I respect
3000.
Cole, and as much as Mike, I might even tell you that Cole's probably top 3 right now and has been since this KD run. He is not number 1 because guess what we don't have? We don't have enough evidence that says that he's number one. Now, when he shows up, is evidence that it might be true. But do we have any motherfucking product in the album format that says he's the best MC out? Because the off season, not that. KD 2, Mike.
Where would you put the off season in this KD run?
At the bottom, Mike. It's not even better than KD 1, and you know it.
I agree.
And here's the reality of the matter, too. And this is what I'm saying. It's just like, no, he hasn't made anything KD 2 level, KD 3 level, Mike, definitely lyric-wise, Magic level at all in the last 5 years. So, Mad Max, I get you riding for your new school homie, but you don't have no fucking evidence, my G. You don't have no fucking evidence outside of guest appearance verses and the off-season. The off-season and some guest verses got you thinking Cole's better than Nas right now when I can say KD 1, 2, 3, and Magic. It sounds foolish, and that's why old heads don't respect young heads, because y'all just quite frankly say some stupid shit that's not factual sometime, Mad Max. Have a good day. Thank you for coming out. You tried it. You lost like you always do to me. Next, Mike.
Brian with the super chat says, Friday Night Lights, Born Center, and Forest Hill Drive are on par with the KD era. Your generation might not play them today, but mine does. And I respect that.
Like, I still play Good Kid, Mad City, Mike, but it's like, miss me with that Born Center fucking To Pimp a Butterfly shit. I play Victory Lap, Mike. I play Daytona. I play Pray for Paris and Alfredo. Ain't nobody playing no damn Born Center and no To Pimp a Butterfly. Ain't playing playing no Views from the Six either. You niggas is lying. I don't see nobody outside playing these records.
We got to pull up the numbers.
The producer shaking his head is like, Mike, no, I don't see.
We got to pull up the numbers.
Mike, I was just on Edgewood and Auburn all weekend. I ain't hear one fucking J. Cole, one fucking Kendrick record. I heard Nas records. Old and new. That's some bullshit. I was on Edgewood and Auburn all weekend. Nah, fam.
T Nitty with the super chat says, Killer Priest and Currency made 10 since 2013. Yeah, they've been putting in work.
Mike, I played Scotty Beam the other day.
Yeah.
Kendrick ain't got no damn Scotty Beam in the last 5 years.
James Smith with the super chat says, Jay Electronica features with Just Blaze production. So you want Jay Electronica on the Magic 2 album with Just Blaze production? Trying to sabotage Nas, I see. Mr. J with the super chat says, the warm-up, F&L, both classic mixtapes. Yeah, Friday Night Lights was hard. Born Center and 2014, classic. The off-season is, again, very well. I do feel this next one will be his best album. We keep saying that about Cole.
Hold on, you understand? Okay, listen to what I'm saying. You have to go, listen to this. In a Nas and J. Cole conversation, J. Cole fans have to go back to 2010 through 14. And as a Nas fan, from somebody that literally heard him for the first time when I was about 11 years old, Mike, and I'm 41, I can just go the last 3 years. And we having a conversation about who's better. Do you understand how fucking stupid that sounds? That the guy that showed up first, I can bring up his recent stuff, and you have to go bring up the newer guy's old shit. Stop playing with me.
LP with the
I
super
ain't the
chat
one.
says,
You're not winning this. None of y'all are winning this.
LP with the super chat says, Cole and Lupe made songs with Nas, naming them. And songs with Nas is naming them. Y'all goats nut hug Nas more than anybody in the chat. What's that say about your favorite, Mad Max? Jay Short with the super chat says, I went to a half a dozen vinyl stores this weekend. All of them had overstocked of Mr. Morale. Y'all don't buy or support Kendrick like that. Stop lying. And Jay Short's on the West Coast, mind you.
It's the truth.
Andrew Williams with the super chat says, talk to him, Coop. And Chris White with the super chat says, only J. Cole album on this level was his last album.
No, Forest Hills is the only one that's been on this level, Mike. Maybe Friday Night Lights. Like, how about this? Friday Night Lights, you could say maybe it's better than KD1, and you could say Forest Hills Drive might be better than KD2. But then, Mike, there's KD3 and Magic, and that's why it's like, no, stop that.
All right, this is what I'm going to say before we leave.
Stop that.
Magic 2, I want Kendrick on there. And I want Cole on there.
Cut us off.
No, because you remember when Kendrick and Nas... No, you remember when Kendrick and Nas took that picture together. It's got to be a song,
That was like
right?
6 years ago, Mike.
You don't think a song was made?
I didn't have these white hairs, Mike, when they took that picture.
You don't think a song was made? No? Yeah. Well, At least we can get Cole on Magic too, right? We'll have more details Wednesday, I'm sure, for Wednesday's show. And
Are you sure
what?
that we're gonna have more details?
Hopefully. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would
we
imagine.
got 2 magic sticks that I can't read in a black and white of Harry Houdini. I didn't even know that was Houdini. Like, I don't be watching no black and white.
Well, I feel like we'll probably have more details by Wednesday. If we don't, then we don't, and we'll just go from there. But I mean, we got to bounce. I think there's another super chat, and then we'll get up out of here. But yeah, I'm excited though. I think it's gonna be got some stuff coming. Mr. J with the super chat says, not saying Cole is better than Nas. No one believes that. Just don't discredit Cole's work.
Nobody did. But Mad Max is saying J. Cole's better than Nas right now, and he just doesn't know what he's talking about. You don't have any evidence. You have no evidence. Because here's the thing about it. Think about this. For all of y'all that's riding for J. Cole, how many times have we pulled up on here, Mike, and said that, well, Kendrick ain't made nothing great since, damn, that's what, 2017, 2016? 17. Mike, Cole ain't made nothing great since Forest Hills. When was that?
Damn, that was 14, right?
Thank you.
That's almost 10 years.
So stop playing with me then. Stop playing with me. Same rules apply. Cole don't get no pass for not making nothing great since Forest Hills. Meanwhile, the greatest MC of all time is still currently making great music. Mike, who's the best MC? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't have that conversation when the new guy ain't made a classic album in literally 8 going on 9 years, and the old guy that y'all think that we campaigning for is literally making classic stuff.
Well, the new guy's not really that new anymore. Andrew Williams.
The new guy's newer than the old guy, Mike. Yeah. The old guy, 50.
Yeah. Andrew Williams with the super chat says, Nas literally murdered J. Cole on Let Nas Down. AB Studios with the super chat says, J. Cole gonna make a record called Let Coop Down. Mad Max with the super chat says, you diss a whole generation to praise a guy who I love, who you beg the chat to stream, who stream. Mike, stop talking about what fans don't support.
First of all, I ain't beg nobody to do shit, Mad Max. Get your facts straight. And this is what I'm saying. Your dude, J. Cole, ain't made a classic album in 8 fucking years. Address that shit. That's not me putting him down. That's a fact. This is what I'm saying. What today's generation, Mike, they just don't like factual information. Your guy hasn't made a classic album in 8 fucking years. Tell him to make a classic fucking album. Nobody wants him to win more than me. The reality of the matter, Mike, he has 1 certified classic under his belt. It's 8 years ago. The shit's unacceptable. Stop giving these motherfuckers hall passes because y'all don't care and like the vibes and stuff. I like the vibes and stuff too. Make a classic album. Stop with this bullshit.
Nobody get off my lawn.
You can't be the greatest MC right now when we have to go to a project that you made 8 years ago as your crowning achievement.
I think that's a fair point.
That's not how greatest right now goes. Say who the best MC right now. Not a guy whose best shit was 8 years ago.
No,
I don't care. I don't care how many guest verses you do. You're not about the Andre 3000 me.
Exactly. No,
not about
that
the
I
Andre
agree
3000 me again, Mike. It's not about to happen twice.
Yeah. 88 Spencer with the super chat says, we need to really support this brother Nas right this time around. Yeah, we need to support him right this time around.
I ain't beg nobody to do shit. Y'all pulled up on According to Hip Hop about the shit that we were saying because it was true. Ain't beg nobody to do shit. They be the ones encouraging us to do the streaming parties.
Yeah.
Shit crazy.
I think that'll be dope, man. I mean, it'll be fun. I mean, he normally comes with quality product. It's Nas. We can all listen to that shit for the first time all together. It's a great experience. But like I said, hopefully we'll have some more information on Wednesday and be able to speak to this a little bit more because, I mean, this is kind of breaking news as we're on live. So, looks like it may happen. I don't know if it's going to happen Friday, but the 2 magic wands and the Houdini, that seems very magic-y. So,
it's got the vibes.
Like and subscribe to According to Hip Hop. Hit that bell icon so you know when we're live. I think we got another super chat before we go. That's cool.
Get off my lawn. Go ahead.
Coop's on his real get off my lawn shit today. Esquire with the super chat says Nas is the GOAT by far, but there is a pretty wide gap between the first KD and the other 3 entries. Solid LP that probably wouldn't make his top 10. 8 out of 10.
On the back half of the top 10, and I just said, no. If you feel, I said Friday Night Lights, you could say is better than KD1. I just said that.
Yeah.
I just said that. I think that's Cole's probably 3rd best project.
But yeah, that's saying a lot about what Nas is doing right now.
Thank you. It's like, no. His 9th best project matches up with this guy's 3rd best project. We're not having this conversation unless Cole makes it a conversation.
You know, a conversation that you and I need to have, though, and I think it's kind of a long overdue. We could do this Wednesday. We need to have an albums versus singles type of conversation, because this era is more predicated on singles than they are albums, at least from a star standpoint. Now, you have the guys who make albums, and you see the albums that are really great albums in this era don't have the big singles either. So I think that we need to have a conversation about the weight of what is what.
No.
You're stuck on the album thing.
No, I'm not stuck on the album thing. Listen to what I'm about to say. No, these dudes need to stop getting hall passes from guys like Mad Max and get their fucking weight up. My favorite rap artists know how to make hits and albums. Stop with these hall passes.
But who has done that in recent time, though, you know?
What do you mean?
Make hits and great albums at the same time.
This is what I'm saying, Mike. When you're great, you find a way. Marvin Gaye came up in a time where singles were the thing. He made himself into a great album maker. You want to know why? Because he was fucking great. You're just showing how great that you're not with the excuses. Excuses satisfy the maker. I'm not coming off the bar and the standard to appease some young niggas who don't know as much as me about hip-hop, like Mad Max.
But see, the thing is, though, Coop, though, in reverse, it's like, okay, yes, singles were singles, but they were still selling physical discs and physical albums. And so, hold on, let me finish. And so it's like, yeah, when you transition to making a great album, yes, you're still selling the physical. But in the streaming era, I mean, you've said it yourself, it's kind of more beneficial for people to make singles. So the mentality is to make singles and not really focus on the album.
No, and I feel you. But what I'm trying to say to you is that, well, why am I walking down Edgewood hearing If I Rule the World and You Owe Me, and I ain't hearing shit from fucking To Pimp a Butterfly or Born Sinner?
Yeah, we could delve into more.
You know
of that
what
on
I'm
Wednesday.
saying?
Yeah,
you feel what
I want to have
saying?
a full
So
conversation
when you talk about like
that.
this whole hit making thing, it's like, oh, you do understand the people that I'm talking about have done both of the things, not one or the other.
But they came up in an era where you basically the single was to sell your albums, right? So like you had to be able to
Dead
make
Presidents
that actual.
2 ain't like that. It ain't hard to tell. Ain't like that. They grew into that.
But again, that's why those albums didn't sell what they sold.
But they grew into hit makers, Mike.
Yeah, they had to.
Right. So these hit makers need to grow into album makers.
But they don't have to. That's the thing.
Those guys didn't have to.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
Cool.
They made a choice to.
Cool.
That's a financial decision.
Well, I get that.
Right.
But what I'm saying is when you're trying to sell an album back then, you had to have a single as a hook that was going to get people to buy that album. Now, to have a successful single, the album doesn't really give you anything. So the mark is to make a single. Right. And they don't have to make the album, is what I'm saying.
Mike, you used to have to have street cred for that to even happen. Gunna's got the #1 single, and he's got no street cred right now. Things are different. Excuses satisfy the maker.
Yeah, we need to have a full conversation
we do.
of this.
I'm sick of the
Brother
whole
Gabe with the super chat says, good point. No one talks about the Cole KOD joint. They don't. We didn't even mention KOD.
Because it's not that good, Mike.
All right. Well, we're going to holler at y'all on Wednesday. Great show. I'm looking forward to more details. And A2HH Live, like and subscribe. We out of here. Yeah, I want to have that sing.